screen share while you talk, while you do that. Hit screen share.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Most High bless, Most High bless. It's your brother Qanath, your brother Yehuda. Brother Yehuda going to part 2 of the Black Jews. So I think y'all going to really enjoy this this lesson of history here. So, brother, you got our undivided attention. You go ahead and share. I'm just going to fall back.
Okay.
Have me a few sips, man, and just get entertained. Let's get it.
All right, hold on a second. I'm waiting for this to. First of all, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I just added it. Yep.
Okay, I'm waiting for this thing to pop up here.
You see it?
Hold on a second. I'm in my PowerPoint. I'm just waiting for here we go. It was a slightly slow. Yeah, slightly slow. Can you see it?
Yeah, let's see. Can I make it big?
No, I'm going to do on my end, make a full screen, right? But see what you can do also. So let me do it real quick here. Let me click on this. I want to make it big here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna make it. Let's see.
Let's give it a little while. It's just slightly slow. Okay, there it is. Because it has over maybe 500 pages.
I can make it bigger than that. Hold on, I think I can make it bigger than that. Hold on.
All right, and this is this right here is the second book, the F.O.P.E second book. Okay, so when I go to press and print these books,
a rough draft is not the whole thing.
Right, exactly. But this is section 2 of book number 2. What you're looking at right here. This is going to be section 2.
I'm gonna mute myself, Yehuda.
Okay.
But you need me right here.
Okay. Right. Yeah, this is going to be section 2. And of book number 2. So tonight, with Qanath, Shasham, we decided to dig a little deeper. Okay. F.O.P.E, biblical and historical early century sources proving Israel to be all Negroid. Okay. One more time. F.O.P.E for our people, edification, biblical and historical early century sources. Proving Israel to be Negroid. Okay, so let's dive right into it. It is a Saturday night, so I decided to do a lesson tonight, or we have decided to edify our people. Like I said, we don't hate nobody. Okay, but Israel is all black. Point blank, period. We never did a metamorphosis. That never happened. That is a lie from hell, a blasphemous lie. Let's dive into it. Section 2. The first source I want to go into, Qanath, can you see this? I know you see
okay. I see everything. I'm just on mute.
Good. Mm-hmm. The first source I want to dive into, let me get my glasses here. It's called The Jew, a Negro. This is a book that was written some years back. The Jew, a Negro. Let's go inside this book here. All throughout history, Europeans, ancient eyewitnesses, always described the Hebrews as black. Facts. The original Jew, this says in this book again, the Jew, a Negro, and it reads, the original Jew and Negro were then descended from the same father, Qanath. The evidence of intermarriage you mentioned is a universal phenomenon, and the close affinity between Hamitic and Semitic speech. And this is true because our people multiplied and grew as a nation when Jacob went into Kemet, Egypt, and our people multiplied as a people. And I think they went down like 72 people, maybe 70. Don't quote me. You think about it. Jacob and his family, they migrated to Kemet from Canaan with like 70 or so people, 72 people. I think the Septuagint may say 72, something like that. Either way, they went down. You think about it, like only 70 something people, maybe 70 or 72 people. That's it. But they left Egypt led by Moshe by the thousands. I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands. How did the nation accumulate so many people from 70 to 72 people and then left with something like 300,000 people, maybe more, 500,000 people? How did that happen? From intermarrying or having intermarriages with Kemetic people or Hamitic peoples. That's how. Jacob's sons, right? Their children, their sons and daughters, who did they marry, Qanath? Think about it. Jacob's sons or Jacob's grandkids, his granddaughters and his grandsons, his granddaughters and grandsons. Who did they marry, Qanath? To also that the nation grew so large as a people. They married, some married within each other, but they also had to marry outside to in order for the nation to grow as a people. So they married, many of them married Egyptians. Why? Because they was living in Egypt all those years. So it says here, between Hamitic and Semitic speech, and between the northern Hamitic people and the Semites shows close relationship as you surmise. Then it says on page 14 right here. And I'm going to read. In fact, let me start at the top here. It said, these are the conclusions to which I have come. This is the white man that wrote this book here. By the way, this same Mediterranean race. Why they call it a Mediterranean race? Where's Israel located? Near the Mediterranean Sea, right? That's why it's called a Mediterranean race. He says, I find has survived in India. He said, where it had early percolated. The Brahman caste seems to be very pure, but the lower caste are more or less broad-headed Asiatic aborigines. It says Aryans are all gone. It says only their speech being left as evidence that they once conquered the land. Look what it says here, the highlighted part, Qanath. It would be better to say that the Negro descended from the ancient Jewish type or Mediterranean race. Let me read it one more time. It would be better to say that the Negro descended from the ancient Jewish type or Mediterranean race. You want to say something real quick, Qanath, as I continue?
No, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
The next page of the book, the same book here. It says, the Egyptians held at the time of Herodotus about 450 BC that man had been in existence 25,000 years. We are forced to recognize the still remaining strikingly similar racial characteristics of the Jewish and Negro types in their eyes, their hair, their forehead, thick sensual lips, and the peculiar formations of their fingernails. And we wonder at the little difference wrought in all those long periods, notwithstanding the migrations of the Hebrew race. Again, this is from the source, the Jew, a Negro. Let's continue. Let's go into another source. This is a more early century source here. It is titled The Sephardic Atlantic. The Sephardic Atlantic. Okay, many people don't know also that the original Sephardic so-called Jew was black. It reads here. At the same time, Christian anti-Jewish discourses were bound up with social practices of blackening. It says, as Jonathan Scorch, sound like a German name possibly, has, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, has convincingly argued early modern Jews were not automatically white. Let me read it one more time. Early modern Jews, cockroach of ISUPK, were not automatically white, but they were easily counted among black people. Again, this is the early source, the Sephardic Atlantic, and you can also see the Hebrew writings near the top right side. You see the Hebrew writings near the top corner right here, Qanath. This is a Hebrew source from the white Jew, not the black Jew. The black man did not write this book here, folks. The white Jew wrote this book. Let's read it one more time. This white man says, at the same time, Christian and anti-Jewish discourses were found or bound up with the social practices of blackening. As Jonathan Scorch has convincingly argued, early modern Jews were not automatically white, but they were easily counted among black people. Okay, the Jews always has been described as a black race. Let's go to another source. It's called Ebu Israel, right? A comparison of the Ebu and the ancient Israel culture. And near the bottom of the book here, you can see these coins, Qanath. Okay, these coins. That was in Africa, right? Let's dive inside and blow it up to see what it says right here. Let me see where I want to go. Yeah, let's read this part here. It says here, let's start right here. Arabic Chronicle by Ibn Cordabe, confirmed in 817 AD, of a vast trading network of Jews across Africa, Asia, and in Europe. Gayo was an ancient city. Gayo was an ancient city in Mali. The word Gayo, folks, also derived from the name Gad. One more time. The word Gayo also derived from the name Gad. Gayo was an ancient city in Mali, located 200 miles southeast of Timbuktu. It has been a commercial center in the trans-Saharan trade. It says transforming into a capital of the Sangay Empire, with major cities like Timbuktu and Djinni that reach its peak of prosperity in the 14th and 15th centuries AD, largely dominated by the ethnic Sangay people over smaller African groups like the Mandingos, etc. Okay, but showing everybody that our people migrated some thousands of years ago. They migrated across West Africa or Northwest Africa, right? And it says also the trans-Saharan trade, right? Transforming into a capital of Sangay, etc. All right, now watch this here. Let's go into another source, Qanath. Another source. This source, folks, dates back to 1588. Not by a black man, Qanath, by a white man. Okay? A white man who was known for drawing early maps of Africa. Again, a European that was known for drawing early maps of Africa. His name was Livio Sanuto. I'm not going to even try to pronounce his name. But this is a map on the right side, Qanath, that he drew. Okay, again, dates back to 1588. Let's now, Qanath, you see this area right here where I got my cursor? Y'all see this?
Come on, I see it. We see it. I see it.
Okay, good. Now watch this. I just want to make sure you guys see it. Watch this here. Now let's go inside this map, or let's blow this part up and see what he says here. Now, folks, on the left side, you see this name right here? It's called Ude Rorum. Again, Ude Rorum. That's the name. It's a Latin name, Latin. And then you see the name Terra or Tira, right? Now watch this here. Let's see what it means. The results of the Uederum, right? Latin, it means it is the land of the Jews. Qanath, that's what that word means. The word Terra, it means land of the Jews. So these two words, folks, when you go back, this right here means land of the Jews. That's what it means. Okay? My uncle put me onto this a few years back. That's exactly what it means. Land of the Jews. So when he drew the map right here, Qanath, and he wrote right here, right? Ude Rorum, Terra, Terra. That's exactly what it means. Land of the Jews. Showing you that our people migrated to West Africa. Okay, let's continue. Another source, Qanath, dated back to 1916, is called the Scattered Nation. Again, the Scattered Nation. Right? Now, this book here, like I said, it dates 1916, right? Volume 2 also was a volume 2. A volume 1 and a volume 2. Okay? Another early century source by a European. Now, this is the man right here that wrote this book. Okay? From Cornell University Library. Let's go inside and see what he says. He said, I propose briefly to glance at their history, origin, and civilization. Peculiarities present condition and probable destiny. A people of Semitic race, says that the encyclopedia, whose ancestors appear at the very dawn of the history of mankind on the banks of the Euphrates, the Jordan, and the Nile River in Africa, Kush or Ethiopia, right? Or on the east side of what we call Africa today. Their fragments are now to be seen in a larger and smaller blah, blah, blah. But I want to show you that he refers to the Semitic race living above the Euphrates and the Jordan River, which is used to be ancient Canaan, and the Nile in Africa. Now, we all know that no Mexicans, no Hispanics never lived nowhere near the Nile. Okay, never lived nowhere near the Nile. Same book. Now, let's go to page 214 in the same book. Look what it says here. Right here, where I have in the black part. The Scattered Nation. That's the name of this book here. The Scattered Nation. And the Jewish Christian Magazine. Okay, 1867. Let's go inside and see what it says. It says, the inhabitants of Jericho are of Negro type with black woolly hair. Let's go inside and read now. Let's read it. Let's start in the top. It says, a miserable village of some 30 poor. Now remember, this European, he traveled to Africa. He wrote, a miserable village of some 30 poor hovels, more resembling cowsheds than human dwellings, along, it said, remains here, and there a black Bedouin tent and an old watchtower. Such is the aspect of the present Jericho. The glorious groves of Psalms, right, in whose cool shade once walked the rich inhabitants of Jericho are dead, and the plantations of the sugarcane and indigo have disappeared. The dwellers in Ribhah, the Jericho of old, right? He says, are of the Negro type. One more time. The dwellers of Jericho of old are of the Negro type. They have black woolly hair, Qanath, and their countenance are what's that? I can't even really see. Okay. Deficient in intelligence. Okay, but this white man who also encountered the Jews in the early century, he said that they were of the Negro type and they had woolly hair. Okay, the Negro type and woolly hair. Let's go to another source, Qanath. This source here is from a source called the Universe. The Universe. This is an Israeli source, an Israeli publication. And it reads, now these are white folks writing this. I'm not, listen, all these sources I'm bringing out, 90% is Europeans. It reads, Africa is positively peppered with peoples of Jewish descent at every corner. You probably know that Jews hail from Morocco and Ethiopia, as mentioned in the Bible, and perhaps also from Ghana and Kenya. But did you know that the South is lumber territory? So this, again, is from a source called Universe publication. They also acknowledge the Jews dwelling in Morocco, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, and they talk about the lumber also. Okay. The lumber ethnic group have lived what is now South Africa and Zimbabwe for about 2,500 years. It says, ever since an adventurous group of Israelites split from Judea after the destruction of the first temple and made for warmer climes. Okay, let's continue. Another source, Black Jews in Africa and the Americas. Black Jews in Africa and the Americas. Okay, let's pick it up right here. Let's read. In fact, let's pick it up right here where my cursor is at. Who do not avoid the red menstrual blood during sexual intercourse will finish up white like apples, blah, blah, blah. The same thought is expressed in the contemporary Sifa Yusuf Ha Mashayach, which boast that we Jews are from a clean and white seed. Therefore, our faces are black. Therefore, our faces are black. When it says clean and white seed, it's talking about them being pure inside. Pure. That's what it's talking about. Therefore, our faces are black. Okay? Now watch this here. Let's go inside another book. The Yoruba of the southwestern Nigeria.
Hey, Yehuda.
Yeah.
That last one you did, that last slide you just played.
Yeah.
Can you go back on that real quick?
Go ahead.
It says, therefore our faces are black. But then it says, but you from the Red Sea of.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to read that part. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Administration. Therefore your visions are pale
and reddened.
Red.
I forgot to read that part. But you from the red, I'm glad you reminded me. But you from the red seed of menstruation, you pale skinned people that don't have no melanin in your skin, no melanin. Therefore, your vestiges are pale and reddened. Hey, Qanath, the F.O.P.E, did we write this stuff?
Nah.
Watch this, Qanath. It's going to get even better. Even better. Watch this.
Go ahead. I'm muting up.
The Yoruba of southwestern Nigeria, right? This is printed, copyrighted 1969. 1969. Actually, 2 years before I was even born. 1969. Let's go inside. The origin and history. Okay, so you see what I have it highlighted? Let's blow it up now. Okay, it reads, I'm going to read the highlighted part. It reads right here. Earlier writers had noted similarities to Jewish customs, one identifying Yerubas as one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Let me read it one more time. One identifying Yerubas as one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Yoruba converts to Islam, because many of our people was forced to convert to Islam. That is a historical fact. The Yoruba converts to Islam generally acclaim Mecca as their point of origin, which is true, Qanath, because when you go read the writings of Eldad the Danite, guess what Eldad the Danite said? He said that many of our ancestors migrated to Africa through Egypt, and then they went down the Nile to Ethiopia. But he also said, Qanath, that many of them came through what we call the Arabian Desert, Mecca. Many came through that way, where the Yemen Jews dwell at. Many of our people or ancestors, they came through that way also. In fact, Eldad the Danite said that the tribe, don't quote me, I think he said the tribe of Manasseh or Issachar, it was one of them, was actually dwelling in what we call Yemen today, near Mecca. They was dwelling in that location. And Eldad the Danite and many other early century Jewish travelers, they knew exactly where the tribes was located. They was in contact with them. But let me read it one more time. The earliest writers had noted similarities to Jewish customs, one identifying Yoruba as one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Yoruba converts to Islam generally acclaim Mecca as their point of origin. Okay. Now, what you're looking at here is a picture of Yoruba Jews, Qanath, and they are basically holding some type of Hebrew ceremony. Qanath, you see it? Yes, and notice they all have on white. You see, this is how our ancestors. This is how they dressed.
Okay, this is part 2 of the book. Yeah. Part 1 we did, but we didn't do the whole.
We didn't do the whole book.
This is part 2, and it's not going to be the whole book of part 2.
No, we didn't do the whole book.
Give y'all some insight.
We'll go back to we'll get some insight. There you go. Okay, so it says here the Yerubas, the sons of Ephraim. Okay, not the what we call the Hispanics today. No, the Yerubas are the sons of Ephraim. Even Dr. Windsor in the book from Babylon to Timbuktu, he talks about it. He speaks about the Yoruba being the sons of Ephraim. It reads here, however, some say Yoruba is a corruption of the name Jacob, or in Hebrew, Yaqub. Others assert that the Yoruba is from Zerubbabel, the people of against Baal. But the current Yoruba Jewish population, who claim to come from the Israeli tribe of Ephraim, was said to have been driven to Yoruba land from Morocco by Muslims, and eventually mingled with Yoruba people. These black Jews in southern Nigeria are called the Imuyankwam, or strange people, by the native Africans. But these black Jews call themselves B'nai Ephraim, or the sons of Ephraim. These Jews who claim that their ancestors came from Morocco is supported by their language, which appears to be a mixture of Marabi, Arabic, and local Negro speech. Thus, Abu means father, has become Yaba, from the Hebrew word Abba, and mother, is from the Hebrew Amma. Nevertheless, most of their language is similar to the Yerubas around them. Okay, even give you a little history of the language. These Yerubas, sons of Ephraim, observed certain Jewish customs, among which are the great holy days, naming of children on the 8th day, in almost every way. I have a question, Qanath. Now that the brothers and sisters came into the truth in the Americas through One West, are they naming their kids the 8th day, Qanath?
Nah, nope.
So the black Jews in Qanath, that's why I want you to see that documentary of the Jews in Ethiopia. They doing the same thing, Qanath. But the brothers and sisters in America that came into the truth and had kids, they're not naming their kids on the 8th day, Qanath. Naming of children on the 8th day in almost every way. These black Jews are like the Yerubas and are hardly distinguishable from them, except for some outstanding Hebrew observances. And guess what the Jews do in Ethiopia, Qanath, when you see this documentary? When the woman get their period, guess what, Qanath? They stay in a certain house a certain amount of days, just as in the Bible. They still practice those customs in Ethiopia till this day.
And these Negroes, I'm sure, when they wife on their cycle, they got their wife in the bed hug, sleeping at night.
They can't even be near them, Qanath. They got to be in a separate house, like a separate little shed or whatever. They be in there for the same amount of days mentioned in Torah. But let's continue. This is an old photo, folks. What you call it? What's the word looking for? A vintage photo, right? Near the top here, it says Yerubas Salem, Yerubas Salem. Okay, and guess what? I forgot to tell you, Qanath. My mother. Guess what my mom's name was, Qanath? My mother's name was Rubel. Folks, go look up the word Rubel. That is a Hebrew word. That's a fact. My grandmother's name was Lizzie. Go look at the word Lizzie. It's a Hebrew word. Do you know that, Qanath? My mother like Zerubbabel in the Bible. My mother's name was Rubel, Qanath. It is a Hebrew word.
It is.
My uncle told me that years ago, and I went and looked it up. I was shocked. It's a Hebrew word. Watch this, Qanath. So this is a vintage photo of the Yerubas, right? Look what it says near the bottom. 1910, Qanath. 1910. Okay. Look now. Watch this, folks. This is an early drawing, Qanath. This is an early depiction by a European. Look what it says near the bottom. The children singing, dancing, and praising their way or their war hero, because this European went down, right, and got the history of these people. The children singing and dancing and praising their war hero, Qanath. But it said Basharam, Ga. His name is Basharam Ga, or Agada Riagan, or Gada, or Gad. All mean the same thing. Qanath would derive from Gad, of his victory over the Midianites, Qanath, in Yerubawa land in the 10th century BC. So this is a Gadite king, folks, in Africa. But I thought the tribe of Judah only went to Africa, Qanath, and the tribe of Benjamin and Levi.
Sources, Most High bless King Judah. Everybody.
Hey, King Judah, come on the platform, my brother. I can use your help. Do a little reading for me.
The sources right there.
Put the link in the room for King Judah. Link in the room.
So if anybody want to come in,
do a little reading. I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't mind. I have a few people up here. I don't mind.
And I'm muting out. I'm actually going to step away in a few seconds. So,
but one more time. Go ahead. This guy named is Bosh. This is a real man now. Basharam, or name also God, which then it says Agada Riogan, or Gada. Gad. It says Gad from the tribe of Gad. He was a king in Africa. And it talks about him fighting the Midianites in the 10th century BC. proving that the 10 tribes was in Africa. What they're going to say now, Qanath? The 10th century BC, the Yoruba migration routes. So now you're looking at a map of the Yoruba migration route when the 10 tribes left. Just as mentioned in 2nd Ezra, many of the Jews was taken this way by the Assyrian ruler. It was an Assyrian ruler. He was a king of Assyria. See, when we read the Bible, folks, we don't read about all the Assyrian kings. The Assyrians had many kings that's not mentioned in the Bible. He also deported Jews. This king of Assyria, his name was Adudiwa. He deported Jews also into Africa. And then you have many Hebrews that went down the Nile River. They went this way. And then they migrated this way. Many of them settled in this area. And then many of them continued to go west this way. Let's go to another source. The Jews, a study of race and environment. Again, the Jews, a study of race and environment by Maurice Fishberg. This is printed in 1941. Let's go to page 145. Page 145. Let's blow it up. Okay, it says here, page 145. Let me pick it up near the top. The Jews on the oasis of Mizab to the south of Algeria are a very interesting type because they have they're been isolated for centuries, having hardly had any relations with Jews outside this oasis. There, they live among the Berber tribes, dressed like their non-Jewish neighbors, and are only to be distinguished from the latter by the earlocks which they wear, and by the fact that the women wear no veils. Hugot, this guy named, I can't even pronounce his name, obtained measurements of Jewish Mizabite, Arab, and Negro children on this oasis. He says, all have dark hair and eyes. The cephalic index, he's talking about the skull shape. The cephalic index was 72.9, in the Jews 75.5, in the Mazabites 77.2, in the Arabs and 79.3 in the Negroes. These Jews are thus the most dolichocephalic of all that have been measured in any part of the world. Now remember what I showed before? Only the Negro race have the dolichocephalic skull shape. No other race. This is a scientific fact. The Jew skulls, one more time, these Jews are thus the most dolichocephalic, proving Jacob's seed are all black. The Hispanics do not have the dolichocephalic, so they cannot use that lie that they mixed and became or began to look like they do. They cannot use that lie that they did a metamorphosis, because it says that the true Israelites have a dolichocephalic skull shape. The so-called Hispanics and the Mexicans, they do not have the dolichocephalic skull shape. So that alone disqualified them as being the seed of Jacob.
Can't get around it. Can't get around it
because even the skulls that they dug up in Israel some years back, dolichocephalic. And they said only the Negro have that skull shape. Now let's go to page 149. Page 149. Let's start here. It is stated that the Philosophers are not the only Jews. See, it is stated that the Philosophers are not the only Jews of Negro race, Qanath. Bastian speaks of the Negro Jews living on the Loango coast of Western Africa. They are called the Mavambu or the Judeos. They are, on the whole, a fair-looking race, says Bastian. They are more serious and retained than the rest of the Negroes. Although in other places they are despised, Qanath, here they take a dominating position, or at least such as to be respected and partly even feared, because they are rich and have the most of the commerce in their hands. The same author claims that though they are of a Negro race, why that word Negro keep coming up, Qanath?
This is powerful right here, brother. Damn.
Hey, I see Naphtali in the platform, and let our sister Naphtali, come on, put the link in. And Shashan, if you listening, put the link in the room.
Lima Star.
Somebody, please.
I'm gonna mute up.
Okay, I'll keep reading until somebody come up here. Now, mind you, this is early sources, folks. I'm not making this stuff up. These are early eyewitnesses. Before any plane existed, before any automobiles existed, these are early century eyewitnesses that went into Africa and encountered these Israelites. Let's continue. As I put my glasses back on. Your brother Yehuda getting older. Not old, older. The same author claims that though they are of a Negro race, he detected Semitic features, etc. Even in Madagascar, a traveler had discovered Jews. That's also in Africa. But let's scroll down a little bit here. Oh yeah, let's continue. Sebree mentions that in Ambohipino on the east coast of that island, he met natives who called themselves Zavi Ibrahim, or descendants of Abraham. But I thought the 10 tribes all came to the Americas and who claimed to be altogether Jews. But I could not detect any difference in color. He could not detect any difference in color because it was all black. Features, all features. They all had a Negro features or dialect between them and the other people of the eastern coast, comments the author. The most curious class of Negro Jews is said to have existed in Jamaica and Suriname. In Jamaica, there was a very large degree of intermarriages of the Spanish and the Portuguese Jews with Negroes. And today, there is said to be a very large colored population bearing Jewish names, just like my mother. My mom name was Rubel. My mother's name was Rubel, and that's a Hebrew name. And you don't find too many. How many women have you ever met with that name, Qanath?
I haven't.
I speak to black people all the time. They never even heard of that name. I said, go look it up. I said, type in that name and see what you find. It's a Hebrew origin. My grandmother gave her my mom that name. And my grandmother's name was Lizzie. That's also a Hebrew origin. See, my family, I learned from my relatives and my uncles and my grandfather. My relative was dropped off in the Carolinas, Qanath. When they first came over as slaves, they was dropped off in the Carolinas on cargo slave ships. So I know my history. Let's continue. But there a very large colored population bearing Jewish names, but nearly all of whom have, however, lapsed from Judaism. About 150 years ago, a new half-breed colony was constituted in the neighboring neighborhood of Suriname, which was the result of intermarriages between Jews and Negroes, etc. Okay, but that's another source, right? This is from the book here one more time. It's called The Jews, A Study of Race and Environment. It was published in 1911, right? Now, here's a picture inside this book of a black Jew. Right here said at the bottom, Black Jews of India. Okay, of India. Now, let's continue. Actually, I blew it up. I read this part already. I'm not going to read it again. And I blew this part up. I forgot I blew it up. That's okay. That's okay. Because I got my glasses on. Let's continue. I just read that part. Now, watch this, folks. On the left side, hey, Qanath, can you do me a favor? I'll be right back.
Yeah, what's that?
Can you do a little commentary? I'll be right back.
No doubt. Once again, the brother's giving a magnificent class breakdowns, and some of the stuff he showed me already, and there was some stuff is like, man, okay, had that one hit. But
I'm
overall,
back.
Okay, overall, man, F.O.P.E is about for our people edification, to let our brothers and our sisters teach, man, the knowledge and information, even if something we disagree on, but we could take something out of it we can use. And we're not about the Wendy Williams show. We're not about all the hypocrisies.
Right.
We're about talking about other people all the damn time. We're about getting this word out. All right. Where you?
Yeah, on the left side, you see what it says the British Israel Church of God. This is the organization. You can look it up. They called it. In fact, I was told about this organization maybe 5 years ago. The British Israel Church of God. This is a European organization. When you go and look at their site, they also have information dealing with biblical history. They brought out this information showing Moses, the statue of Moses that was located in Egypt. Okay, that they kept hidden, Qanath, in a museum for many years. So what you're looking at, folks, is the actual statue of Moses that they kept hidden for many years. Okay, and it makes sense to me that Moses. See, here's what happened. Some years ago, I said to myself, right? It is a known fact that the Egyptians, they always, if they had some type of high authority, if there was a pharaoh or some type of priest or somebody like some high authority, some high position, they always made statues of themselves. We know that Moses grew up in Pharaoh's palace. This is before Moses came into the truth now. Before God spoke to him, he lived as an Egyptian. So it made sense to me that there had to be a statue of Moses somewhere, Qanath. So what I did, I started to do some research and dig deeper. And by the grace of God, I came into to learn about this organization. And that's how I found out about this statue of Moses that was hidden for many years. It says right here, Moses and Exodus, the bust and his hieroglyphic name. When you look right here, Qanath, on the right side, that's his hieroglyphic name. Right on the statue, because I have a clearer picture of the statue. When you look at the statue, Qanath, right in front of his garment, it's the hieroglyphic name right here. It says the hieroglyphic above read from right to left. It reads, I'm not going to try to read that word. It says blah star, blah, blah, blah stars. It says, which is Moshe, star priest. That's what it means, Qanath. Right?
Man, this is a excuse me. This is a dagger, brother. Read that part again, which is who?
Okay, his hieroglyphic name, it says here, shows above, read from right to left. It reads, I'm not going to try to pronounce this word. Then it says, which means Moshe, star priest of Thebes. That's what it means. Right in front of his garment right here, you can see it blowing up. That's what it means. It means Moshe, priest of Thebes.
And what's interesting, right from left.
Right from left.
Yep, come on, man. This is amazing.
Then it says at the bottom, today the statue of Moses above is in black diorite, is in the Museum of Art History in Vienna. but the base and the feet are in the National Museum of Ireland in Dublin, Qanath. Now they've been keeping this secret for all these years. It reads, the life story of Moses agrees with the Egyptian Sinu story, which originated in the pharaonic 12th dynasty. It is about a young man who flees Egypt. See, the same story, Qanath, from the Egyptian writings. It is about a young man who flees Egypt, as does Moses, goes to Palestine, as does Moses, where Sinu finds the support of the prince, blah, 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 just as Moses, right? So it go on to talk about it, this statue. I'm not gonna read all of this, but again, it says right here, the bust of Moses, this is his face, this is what Moses looked like, Qanath. Before he grew his beard, before he left Egypt or Kemet, this is what Moses looked like right here, folks. You're looking at the actual face of Moses. Somebody asked me one time, Qanath, why do Moses why do you have a bald head? It's because Moses grew up as an Egyptian. That's why he had a bald head.
Just like right now, well, it's kind of lightening up a little bit, but years ago when I was coming up, women couldn't get jobs because of braids. Men had to cut, shade the hair off their face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what custom was that? The custom of the Europeans shaving all the hair off their face, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, our hair can't be but a certain length.
Mm-hmm. But this is right here's a historical fact. The men were bald heads. Some of them were a ponytail, like that clown Shaka Utmost. Okay, with their bald heads. But this was their custom, folks. That's why you see Moses with a bald head, with no beard, because he grew up as an Egyptian he was a baby, right? He was a baby when you know what I'm saying? Given or adopted as Pharaoh's grandson. And when you also go dive into the history of Qanath, you will see who adopted Moses. Her name was Hatshepsut. She was the first woman pharaoh. After Moses fled from Egypt, later on she became the first woman pharaoh. She's the one who adopted Moses. But let's continue. Another source, the Jew, let me get my glasses here. The Jew, the Defense of Judaism. It was published, Qanath, in 1824. So on page 277, let's blow it up right here. Let's read this part right here, Qanath. Let's start right here. On my mind, there is no doubt as to which is the true account. The Portuguese were also invertebrate haters of Jews, fond of Jews' blood. You see that? And Jews' property, and were the most likely to persecute them and to seek destruction, while the native princes were most likely and really did protect them when they left Qanath, or there would not now be any white or black Jews in these parts. In Portugal, they dare not be openly. I also noticed the white Jews say but little about it. See, they merely charge Portuguese with being a stumbling block and the thorn to them, the obligating them to leave Qanath and seek protection at coaching. But it also speaks about the Jews of Portugal. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because when you go also read about the Jews of Portugal, they speak about the black Jews of Portugal a lot. Okay, a lot. Now let's go to page 278. The same book. Look what it says here, Qanath. I cannot be made to believe that 50 families went at night to join a marriage in another town. I rather suppose they wish to rid themselves of the presence of the Padre Sargon. Remember now, this is another white man who visited Africa, Qanath, in the early century, and thought the easiest way was to leave him. Perhaps he might go away, and it had the desired effect. Thus, he said, thus we may gather from the representations of Sargon himself that the black Jews consider the Portuguese and the persecutors and the destroyers of their race. You see, the Jews always, or the Portuguese Jews also, for the most part, they were always considered to be black. The West African Jews of the diasporas or diaspora. Let's continue. Again, the West African Jews of the diaspora. Now we're looking at the itinerary of the Benjamin of Tudela. This is another early century traveler that you guys should look into. Okay, not only Eldad the Danite, there was many others. I have a book called The Early Jewish Travelers. It actually speaks about Benjamin of Tudela. Okay, so let's go inside and see what it says here. In fact, let's read this part here. Let's read this part right here. This is what Benjamin of Tudela wrote. He said, there is a people among them who like animals. Now remember, he was an early century traveler also. He was an early century traveler who went to Africa. There is a people among them who like animals, cat and herbs that grow on the banks of the Nile and in the fields. They go about naked and have not the intelligence of the ordinary man. Okay, because he also met many Hamitic people too. They cohabit with their sisters and anyone they find, etc. It is very hot. It is a very hot land. He said that Africa is a very hot land. When the people of Aswan raid their country, they bring with them provisions, wheat, raisins, and figs, which they spread out for them. When they come after the food, they are taken as slaves and sold in Egypt. See, and sold in Egypt. So they talk about the Jews also. And the neighboring countries, these sons of Ham are black slaves. Watch this, they are black slaves, but watch this here. It is a 12 days. He says right here near the bottom, it is a 12, let me put my glasses on. It is a 12 days from Aswan to Halion. He said, where there are some 300 Jews. From there, they go in caravans 50 days, journey through the great desert, which is called Sahara, see? To the town of Zabala, known as Havilah in the scriptures. You can read about that in the Bible. In the land of Ghana. In this desert are mountains of sand. And when the wind rises, the caravans are covered with sand, and all of them may die under the sand. But he talks about the Jews that he encountered. He said one more time, in the 12 days from Aswan to Halion, where there are some 300 Jews he came in contact with. From there they go in the caravans, etc. And he talks about Ghana. He also mentions Ghana. Let's go into another source here. The black, or the history in black African Americans in search of an ancient past. Okay, this is another early source. I'm not sure what year, I can't remember what year, but either way, let's go inside. Let's go inside. Let's pick it up right here near the top. It reads, in the medieval literature of theory prevailed in which the Jews were part of the black race, or were at least dark-skinned. A number of bizarre examples were brought forth as proof. One was that because Jewish religious law commands that courteous takes place in the dark, Jewish children are born with dark skins. The image of the Jew as dark-skinned fits in which the image of the southern Mediterranean type. Indeed, the Jew practically became the prototypical Mediterranean. See that? It says small, black, hairy all over. It said, look, watch this. It says some of them was black and some was hairy too.
Sources.
Okay? Some was hairy also. Look what it says here, like Esau. So Esau was the only person hairy. You got some black people that's hairy too. Why? Because Esau was a black man. He was an albino. Esau was no white man. It says here, the image of the Semitic Mediterranean, a Jew as black, occupied a significant place in both popular and learned anti-Semitic literature of the 19th century. It says some like Houston Stewart Chamberlain in the foundations of the 19th century described the Jews as an admixture of Negro blood with Jewish and diaspora of Alexandria. Qanath. In the early century, no, I read that part. Well, what was I? I lost my. Oh, here we go. I was right. In the early century or 20th century, anti-Semitic and racist literature, the Oriental Semitic Hamitic race was depicted as the complete opposite of the white race. Jewish blood is dark black. Qanath. He says Jewish blood is dark black. Shall we continue or should we just end it right here, Qanath?
Man, I'd like to hear some more. It's up to you. It's up to you.
Jewish blood is dark black, he said, Qanath. Wrote Max Brewer, a racist. He's a racist. And he said that the Jewish blood is dark black. And he was a racist. Mark Brewer, a racist, anti-intellectual, and anti-Semitic author who produced a series of articles in which Jews are exemplified as utterly negative, dark of character, and Judaism as a black essence. You see, folks, our people always, or the Hebrews of old, were always described as black people, going all the way back to ancient times. Even in biblical literature, what we call the Bible today, they always described as black. Let's continue, Qanath. Another source, Qanath. Another source is called the Ijibu, or human being. Right? It says right here, Qanath, the 19th century origins of discrimination against Ijibu settlers in colonial Abadan, Nigeria. The word Abadan also derives from the tribe of Dan people. Let's go inside and read it, Qanath. This is another early source, Qanath. Let's go inside chapter 5. It says the Ijibu were well known for their irresponsible flair for trading. Let me start over. The Ijibu were well known for their irrepressible flair for trading. This is conjunction with their versatility in countless of other productive ventures earned them the accolade, the Jews of Nigeria. See, some Ijibu towns of Akorodu or Aru were located along the coast. They were therefore indispensable middlemen. See, middlemen in the coast hinterland trade, which probably dates back to the 16th century. The Ijibu traded in a variety of imported articles such as chinaware, printed clothes, rum, gins, guns, and beads for slaves, etc. But either way, they said these Jews, they descend from Jacob, and they was dwelling in Nigeria, and they was called the Ijibu. Now, when you go back, it also says the settlers of colonial Abadan. Okay, because we all know that the tribe of Dan also went into Africa. Qanath. Another source, right? Another source by gateless. I think this is Latin. I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. Masquer. By gateless masquer. Either way, let's go inside. Let's see what it says here. You see near the top where I got highlighted, Qanath? Where I have highlighted? It says here, the nigger Jew. They call it the nigger Jew.
Yeah, I see it.
The nigger Jew is in the process of forcing the Aryan to topple into communism and robotic art into the objective mentality, right? Or mentally of perfect slaves of the Jews. The Jew is a nigger. Let me read it one more time. The Jew is a nigger. The Semitic race does not exist. They said that was made up later. The Jew is a nigger, Qanath. The Semitic race does not exist. It is a free Masonic invention. The Jew is only a cross between niggers and Asiatic barbarians. You see that, Qanath?
It's a good time to be called a nigger these days.
Right. But the point is, they always acknowledge in early sources that the Jews are always black. That's the whole point, you know?
Hey, read that last part again, man. That was
the last part. Let me read it one more time.
It's good to be called.
I better read the whole thing. It's not that long. It's not long.
Go ahead.
The nigger Jew is in the process of forcing the Aryan to topple into communism and robotic art, into the objective mentally of perfect slaves of the Jews. No, mentality. I read it wrong. Mentality of perfect slaves of the Jews. The Jew is a nigger. The Semitic race does not exist. It is a free Messianic invention. The Jew is only a cross between niggers and Asiatic barbarians.
Hey, look, and hold on, Yehuda, keep it there, right? The Jew is a nigger, and right, it said they cross between niggers and Asia. Look at it,
barbarians.
Liggers.
Right.
Look how they spelled it, Liggers.
You see that?
You can't say it no harder than that.
Can't say it no harder. But they tell everybody that the Jews as black folks, always being black, always. We never did no metamorphosis like these camps teach. They're a metamorphosis to a whole nother people.
No doubt. Keep going. I'll do that.
It talks about more because he basically insulting the Jews. Because remember, these are early sources, Qanath. A lot of these sources from racist white people also. So he was kind of insulting the Jews. But he said the Jews are niggers. They wasn't Semitic. That term Semitic came later on. The Jews always being black. Does not the Bible say that God said his people would be made a mockery all the time? Sambo cartoons and them racist cartoons they used to draw back in the 40s and 50s of black people. So I blew it up right here so you guys can take a screenshot if you want to. You can take a screenshot. Okay. Let's go to another source, Qanath. Excuse me. Qanath. It's called a hybrid hate. The hybrid hate. Let's go inside and see what it says here.
Hey, Yehuda, before you go there, right? Before you go there, when you the last one you left, last slide, it said nigger, and then you come with the hybrid hate, right? It remind me when that guy we let on, he said nigger. Remember?
Right.
Nigger.
Right. When a Hispanic guy came on,
yeah. We was like, what the hell was that? And then you
Right.
show the hybrid hates.
But let me read that to the Hispanic again. I know you know what it is peeping like them deers. You peeping, you looking. Let me read that to you Hispanics one more time. The nigger Jew is in the process of forcing the Aryan to topple into communism, blah, blah, blah. The Jew is a nigger. The Semitic race does not exist, Hispanics. It is let me repeat that again, Hispanics. The Jew is a nigger. The Semitic race don't exist. So how can you Hispanics be the seed of Jacob? It's not possible.
Let me say this too, right? It's not a hate of no Hispanics, even
it's not hate, respect.
No, or nobody, right?
Right?
It's the fact that not all, but you have some people that's teaching that they're the same, which is asinine, and then you have some of them saying that we are not God chosen people. They are. So we here fight for our people edification. We have no hate for no Hispanics or anything, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
the Jews are the niggers.
Right. Just like the Hispanic came on. Just like the Hispanic came on and said. Let's
nigga. Let's get it.
A hybrid hate. Let's go inside this source here. Let me pick it up at the top right here. It says, let me put my glasses on. Damn, I keep taking my glasses off. It says here, Michaelis argued that the pressure, or like Russia pressure, there was no use for the Jews. They could not readily be made productive or beneficial, but they could be transformed into a rather more useful Negroes. Qanath. See, they always acknowledge the Jews as Negroes, brother. We got so many sources of F.O.P.E. It's not even funny. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet. If only pressure on Sugar Islands, he's lamented, Qanath. Jews could be let me start over. Jews could be put to work in the Caribbean, where their non-European origins as a southern race of Asiatic refugees would enable them to engage in hard labor alongside their black brothers in the unhealthy climate of the slave colonies. You want to say something so far? Often constructed in this discourse of black. Somebody put a link in the room, man. Somebody come on and do some reading. Often constructed in this discourse as black Negro and servile Jews once again became to resemble representations of their medieval Qanath forebears. Medieval. Y'all know how far back medieval times go, Qanath? Even in medieval times, the Jews were always described as black.
Not according to these other people. We wrong. We haters. We don't know no better. God loves everybody.
Right.
That's what they said. I mean, we got love for everybody,
Right.
The truth is the truth, man.
Truth is truth. It's often constructed in this discourse. Let me read that part one more time. As black Negro and servile Jews once again became to resemble representations of their medieval forebears, meaning forefathers, folks. Let's read the bottom part. At the same time as Jews in Europe and the United States were being understood as having black blood. There you go again, Qanath. Black blood. And the model of American treatment of blacks was expiring. Attitudes towards European Jews, black ethnic groups throughout Africa, indeed people of color throughout the world, were being understood and explicated in every remote corner of the colonized world as having Jewish blood. Shall we continue? Shall we just cut? Just let the people marinate. Let the people
let it marinate. Let it
marinate. Let it
marinate a little bit.
Should we give them more? Just relax for now. Let people. Let somebody come on. What do you think? Should I keep going? If you want me to? You just tell me when to stop.
I say I'm not able to read right now, but I know you need to read it. But if you want to keep going, man,
I keep going a little bit.
I'm enjoying it, no doubt. Okay,
let's go to another source. Another early source, Okay. This is an early source. I'm trying to get the year. I can't only see it. It's so small. But anyway, this is an early source. It's called An Introduction to the Critical Study and Knowledge of the Holy Scriptures. Qanath. Okay. I wish I had the year. I get the year another time and add it, but I can't see it right now. Either way, let's go inside. This is page 437. 437. Let's blow it up. Okay, let's read this part, Qanath. In hot countries like a considerable part of Palestine, travelers inform us that the greatest difference imaginable subsists between the complexions of the women, Qanath. Those of any condition seldom go abroad and are ever accustomed to be shaded from the sun with the greatest attention. Their skin is consequently fair and beautiful, but women in the lower ranks of life, especially in country, being from the nature of their employments most exposed to the scorching rays of the sun, are in their complexions remarkably tawny and swarthy. That word tawny and swarthy means black. Under circumstances,
no doubt.
A high value would, of course, be set by the Eastern ladies upon the fairness of their complexions as a distinguishing mark of their superior quality, no less than as an enhancement of their beauty. But I just want to show people what it says here. We proceed, therefore, how natural was the bride's self-abasing reflection. It says, respecting her tawny complexion. Okay? Jews always described as tawny and swarthy, meaning black. Let's go to another source, Qanath. What source is this here? Let's see. This printed in 1836, folks. Near the bottom, it says 1836. What year was your grandmother born, Qanath? My grandmother was born 1923.
Man, stop. My grandma was born in 1923.
1923, yep.
My grandmother was born in 1923.
Okay. Hey, hold on for a second. All right. 1923. Now watch this. Watch this here, Qanath. Anacalypse attempt to draw aside the veil, right? Languages, nations, and religions, right? Volume 1. Again, printed in 1836. Let's go inside. 1836. Now, keep in mind, on page 308, let's blow it up. Let's pick it up right here to the top. Reverend Dr. Claudius Burchanan, I believe, a missionary, some years ago published Travels in India, in which he states that he found no less than 65 settlements of black Jews in different parts of the peninsula. It is a great pity that these different races of people could not be examined by a philosopher. Dr. Burchanan, who found the Christians in St. Thomas.
Sources.
What's that, Qanath?
I was just saying sources as you read. Sources.
Yes, sir. Yep, Dr. Burchanan, who found the Christians in St. Thomas. It says before they were what he could call corrupted by the Roman church, or Roman meaning Roman, the Roman church, to have been and yet to be correct. It says this guy Lambeth Christians, or these are people who's called Lambeth Christians, notwithstanding that they received the gospel of infancy, and were Nestorians, could not be expected to discover much. These black Jews are remnants of the sect of the Ides. See, of the sect of the Ides, who it says Colonel Wilford informs us, yet remains Guzeret. What's that word? Oh yeah, I apprehend they were part of the set of the Linga, who will not unite with or divide from the followers of the female principle. It says the or Ioni, or from those of the double principle, and on the account were persecuted and expelled. He said these Jews were persecuted and expelled. And from them came the tribe of Abram, or the Brahmin. If this were the case, they would not, of course, have all the Mosaic books in the form in which we have them. So he said these black Jews they encountered, they had all the Mosaic books. Now show me through history where the Native American Indians had the book of Moses among them before the white man came over. They did not have no writings or no scriptures, Qanath, the Native Americans.
Case closed.
But they said they came over.
Hey, real quick, remember we was talking one time?
Yeah.
Actually, a couple of days ago. And I mentioned to everybody, I said, look, they said that the white man came over here, right? The Spanish or the French came over here and had sex with the natives. Which if they say that, and you go by to see your father, then we know what that means, you know what I mean? But then I thought about it. So they say, well, they taught them French and Spanish. Now, I want to ask everybody this. What are these other languages that they're speaking, and where do they get them from? Because if you're saying they came over here, right, speaking Hebrew or Aramaic Hebrew or whatever.
Well, no, and they said they was the only one over here. Nobody was living over here but them. So where do they get them languages from then? Who they learn from?
All these damn languages come from that they speaking in the bush.
Right, exactly.
These languages that they've yet to understand. Some writings that they found that they don't understand today. So what are these languages? Because they're supposed to speak French or Spanish. Guess what language we speak? We speak English.
Right.
The black ones.
Right.
We speak Spanish or English. We don't speak all these other languages I never heard. Nobody heard of before.
And the white man said when you read the early writings of the Europeans when they came over, they said the Indians was speaking a whole different languages. They wasn't speaking no damn Hebrew.
They weren't speaking Hebrew.
They had their own language.
English. They weren't speaking Swahili. They weren't speaking
none of that.
Phoenician.
Nope.
Nothing. These are where all these languages come from. Well, we know they come from.
Yeah, we know.
If you say these people Hebrews,
yeah, we know.
Come on, no.
Hey, keep speaking. Let me grab something real quick.
Yeah, no doubt. Just think about that, brothers and sisters. Well, they came over here, and the white man and the Hispanic man. That's why they speak Spanish, and that's why they look the way they look.
I'm back.
Come on, stop it. What are these other damn languages they were speaking? Go ahead,
Okay, from the same source. This is page, the next page, but not the next page, but same book though, page 390. Let's blow it up. Real quick. It says from the accounts given by Dr. Burchanan of the black tribes. See, they always describe as black of the black tribes. Some of them having the Pentateuch, and others not having them. And of those who have them, having obtained them from the white tribes, it seems probable that they were indebted from them solely to the white tribes. This will exactly agree as might be expected with my theory if it should turn out to be true, because the ongoing out of the tribe of Judi or Ayudi from India, and all probability must have taken place before Moses lived, and before he partly wrote and partly compiled or collected the traits into what we call the Pentateuch. And it says, in all probability, the first books of Genesis were brought from India. It said with the tribe, with Abraham or Brahim. The more, and makes sense because remember now, Qanath, in the Bible, what it says in the book of Esther, the king of Xerxes had provinces from what? India to Ethiopia.
120 provinces, I believe.
100, yep. And then it says here, exactly, the bottom paragraph. It says, the more I meditate, a shout out to King Judah also, and Lima. Yeah, Lima. The more I meditate on the extraordinary fact stated by Bertrand that there are many black tribes of what are called in our language Jews. Man, we just should we just make this the last one? Should we make this the last one, Qanath?
Excuse me, say it again.
Should we make this one the last? Excuse me. Should we make this one the last one?
I don't know. I mean,
let's continue.
Let's go.
It said one more time. The more I meditate on the extraordinary fact stated by Bertrand that there are many black tribes or what are called in our language Jews. But it says, but evidently tribes of Iodi in different parts of India. See,
and stop right there. You would have stopped right there. I want you to understand this something. These sources, he has the name of these sources. These sources are true scholars, have traveled right to different countries, and not only travel to these countries, were able to go down and meet certain tribes and locate the found that they the real Jews. It says right there, but I can't see that. All I see is but eventually tribes of
I read it for you again. Yeah. It said, but evidently tribes of Iodi in different parts of India who have not the Pentateuch of Moses.
But the point is they know the name of these tribes and pinpointing this down in their footwork, in their travels. And this was in 1923.
It was in what year was that? It's an old source, man. I'm telling you, this is 1836.
1836.
1836.
Cool.
Yep. I don't. Right. Now show me all these sources of Europeans writing about Indians all over the Americas as being these tribes. Show it to me. Because show me all these sources. Tribes. Yep.
We all over.
But what law do these tribes govern themselves? He asked the question, Qanath. He said, but what law do these tribes govern themselves? It is by tradition. If they be Jews, they must be descendants of Jacob or Abraham, which branch off before the law was given. And if their law be very similar to that of the present Iodi, it will prove that what indeed seems pretty clear without it, that Moses adopted into his written law many of the old laws which his tribe had before. Blah blah blah. Then it says at the bottom.
That's a bombshell. What you just that little paragraph. What law they keep? So these people from Jacob and Abraham.
Yep, from Jacob and Abraham. Yep.
Come on, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then the bottom, it said they referenced this guy, Esebus, right? Esebus. And his chronicle says that Ethiopians coming from Indus or Black River settled near Egypt. There seems to be nothing improbable in these Ethiopians being the tribe of Jews.
Come on, y'all. They don't teach us nowhere in college, school, but the books and everything is out there.
Right, exactly.
Research, put together, research.
The tribe of Jews. Then it says here, same book of the tribe of Jacob. See, I'm continuing. The tribe of Jews or the tribe of Jacob or Israel. I think these Ethiopians did come under Jacob and did settle in Goshen and gave the names Maturah and Avirus to the city in which they dwelt. Aviri in Hebrew would be as often written Obri. See, look at that. Aviri in Hebrew, which is in Ethiopia, would be often written as Obri, or the city of Hebrews or foreigners. Guess what they call the? That's why I want you to watch that documentary, brother. Guess what they call the Jews of Beta Israel? They call them Falasha. What did the word Falasha mean? The word Falasha means stranger, foreigners.
Oh, right, yep. And it's an insult.
They said it. They said they hate that word. They call them Falasha.
Well, you call somebody, you're a Falashan Jew? That's you actually insulting them to call them that.
Yep. They said they was given that name from the Africans. When they came to Ethiopia, they started calling them strangers, which means Falasha.
Like it's an insult. I tell you, when you say philosophy, it's just like somebody looking and say, "Oh, you one of them nigger Jews? You one of them niggas who think you're Jews?"
Exactly. Then it says here, it can scarcely be maintained that the places in Egypt which had names connected with the word Judah. Let me read that one more time. It can scarcely be maintained that in the places of Egypt which have names connected with the word Judah can have been called in the early day. They said there was many places in Egypt that had words connected with Judah from the tribe of the Jews. But
y'all know, hold on real quick. Y'all should do this right here for us because we already doing it. Find them names that connected with Judah in Egypt.
Right.
Utmost and Reggies and all these other people, or these this, and they got to be in no black community, white community who think they're Egyptologists, right? Or know so much about Egypt. They be killing themselves right with their own writings.
In fact, let's make that be our F.O.P.E homework, because we now establishing the F.O.P.E University, right, Qanath? Remember I told you.
Actually, you know what? I wish Shan was on because we could actually share the link, because we actually doing a university.
And remember I told you from Discord the program I told you about.
Man, this is going to be beautiful, y'all. Y'all gonna be able to go to different. It might be 2-3 classes going on, or 4 classes
at the same time.
At the same time, and you'll be able to jump in and out.
And you can do video, or you can do screen shares, everything.
So we'll be doing screen shares, videos. Like I might be doing one class, having I don't know how many people in there. We chit chat.
Exactly. Then I could be doing a class, and somebody could be doing something at the same time.
At the same time. So
in the same platform.
And what that does too, that kind of, it gives us a Michael Jackson and Prince thing. You know what I mean? Yehuda got to bring them out. I got to bring it out. Shan got to bring it out. Professor Lee Cummings, everybody from Naphtali, Yavin, Kahan.
Hey, in fact, I already got the names of the rooms. I already got Professor Lee Cummings' classroom. I got his name. I got Professor Lee Cummings' classroom. I have a Naphtali classroom, Sister Naphtali classroom. I got a Qanath classroom, Shasha and me. I got to show it to you. We got to show it to you. I'm short to you.
That way, the only people will be able to see this stuff is the people who actually come and subscribe. Guess what? There's no money in.
The only people who are serious. Go ahead. I'm
serious, and we're gonna know if you're serious or not because we're gonna be able to tell. And if we don't see you consistent in any of these rooms, then we just kick you out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we'll be able to tell how many people we have in there and how consistent people are coming in and watching. That way you have all this stuff to yourself, and it's no charge, you know, especially if our brothers and sisters take the time to do these classes. That way it is spread, you know, for people who really want to learn all over the world.
Man, listen, I was messing around with it today. The screen shit, everything, man. I was like, wow, this is crazy. Well, you see, one day we're gonna go over. I'm gonna show you and Shasham.
Yeah, we're going. I mean, even from cooking class from my wife, and I like to cook too.
Oh yeah, all that. I can
everything. I can add a class videos. I be like hanging out. Do one like hanging out with Qanath, things I do in the weekend. I take some, take y'all out with me at times.
Right.
But that's about it. Let's keep on going, Yehuda.
Yeah. Okay. So in the bottom paragraph, it says, Eusebius. This was an early century white guy. Eusebius' assertion in his chronicle that about the year 1575 BC, a tribe of Ethiopians came from the river Indus and encamped and settled near Egypt is but a loose kind of information, and therefore can be little dependent on. No, it's not, because Eldad Danite and many other early century Jews talk about it. But as he fixes them up, it said about the time when the Jews are generally supposed to have come, it rather tends to confirm my idea. Though I pay little attention to the dates, it is not impossible that without knowing it, he said he may allude to the Jewish tribe. But again, it says, I think near the top, I think these Ethiopians did come from under Jacob. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to another source. Another source is called A History of the Jews. Qanath, A History of the Jews. From the destruction of Judah, it says in 586 BC to the present Arab-Israeli conflict. Let's go inside. On page 232. Let's read the highlighted part. So you read the top part here. It talks about, I can read a little bit. It talks about the Jews. The Jews are in Cyrenaica, Tripoli, soon after the reign, blah, blah, blah. The numbers were augmented by fugitives from Antiochus, Epiphanes of Syria, before he was defeated by the Maccabean armies. One of these refugees was Jason Cyrene, who wrote a book describing the Maccabean War. Josephus, the Jewish historian who lived 2 centuries later, described the Cyrenaica, blah, blah, blah. Then it says a further increase in the Jewish numbers came as a result of the defeat of the Jews by the Rome in 70 CE. So large was the Jewish population of Cyrenaica in the next generation that in the ill-fated uprising of 115 through 117, it says the Jews almost overcame their pagan neighbors and the Roman armies. Rome, fearful of vengeance, caused many to flee. Qanath. Further west. What did we read when I did a lesson? The Jews went west. What did God say? They're going to come back? They're going to come from the west. Further west into the territory then known as Mauritania, and now as Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco. That's where the Jews fled from the Romans. Of the Jews from now I'm reading the highlighted part. Of the Jews from the former population of Cyrenaica fled completely beyond the reach of Rome. You want me to read that one more? Let me read that one more time. Of the Jews from the former population of Cyrenaica, they fled completely beyond the reach of Rome into the desert to the south, meaning going towards Nigeria, Timbuktu. Such is the explanation how the Sahara Desert first acquired Jewish tribes toughened by the fighting tradition and possessed of physical characteristics which is said still make them approximate very close or closely the original Jewish population of Palestine. Are you hearing me, Qanath?
Loud and clear.
But let me read this part one more time. Now watch this, Qanath. It said that these Jews fled even further south beyond the reach of Rome. They wanted to get as far from Rome as possible. Now watch this. Let's get a witness. Let's get a witness now, Qanath, that the Jews wanted to get far from Rome. Josephus, who was an eyewitness, who wrote about the Jewish-Roman War, who was an eyewitness, right? Let's see now what Josephus wrote. Let's see if he wrote the same thing. In the book of Josephus, if you go to the back of the book, in the index part, let's read the index part now. Let's see what Josephus wrote. He says right here, he give a definition of Hebrews, right? It reads, twice carried captive beyond Euphrates. And then it reads here, highlighted, of those Hebrews that came to offer their sacrifices from beyond the Euphrates. But then it says right here, where you see my cursor right here, the 10 tribes lived beyond the Euphrates and out of the bounds of the Roman Empire.
Man, that's a straight cut. That's a straight cut where they still felt they were still serving and fellowshipping in their captivity. In their captivity.
You see that?
But they was outside Euphrates doing what they had to do.
And then it says here, he said the 10 tribes lived beyond the Euphrates and out of the bounds of the Roman Empire. Yeah. Just as I just read right here. The Jews fled even further south to get away from the Romans. Out of the bounds of the Roman Empire. Now let's look at the Roman Empire. Let's look at a map now. This is a map of the Roman Empire. You see all this right here, Qanath? All of this is the Roman Empire. All the way up to the north part of Africa. Right? All this beyond Qanath was not the Roman Empire. The Jews, they're showing everybody that the Jews went right into Africa. As we just read in this source right here. They went to Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and many went further south out of the bounds of the Roman Empire, just as Josephus just said right here one more time. The 10 tribes, they lived beyond the Euphrates and out of the bounds of the Roman Empire, proving that the 10 tribes did go into Africa. Because why would they go north? They didn't go to run into the Romans. They went this way. They want to get the hell away from the Romans, so they went further into Africa, out of the bounds of the Roman Empire. And guess what else I learned, Qanath? I have a book, right? I'm going to show you this book. It's a rare book that hardly nobody got. I ordered this book, Qanath. It was shipped to me from Africa, Qanath, by 2 authors. Guess what they wrote? And they give a little history of the Jews too. Guess what they wrote, Qanath? They said the reason why the Greeks never conquered Africa. Think about it, Qanath. The Roman Empire ended right here, Qanath, at the top of Africa, by the Mediterranean Sea. All of this, Mauritania, Africa, all of this, Sardinica, their empire ended right here. Why they didn't go further into Africa, Qanath? You know why? These 2 African authors wrote, or scholars in Africa. They said that the Greeks and the Romans was afraid to go deep into Africa. Let me repeat that one more time. I'm going to show everybody this book. They said that the Romans and the Greeks were afraid to go deep into Africa. That's why they ended the empire right here. They didn't want to go down deeper. They knew they was going to get their ass kicked, Qanath, basically.
And you know this. And
the 2 authors said it. They knew they was afraid to take their empire further. That's why the Jews went out of the bounds of the Roman Empire. They want to get as far as possible, because they knew that the Romans wasn't going that deep. Let's continue. Now, what you're looking at here is a statue of King David, Qanath, is in Jerusalem as we speak. If you ever travel to Jerusalem, ask a tour guide or person to show you the statue of David. They're going to take you to this statue right here. This is a depiction of David as a black man. Now, of course, the artist who sculpted this, of course, he gave him straight hair. That's what the Europeans do. You know what I'm saying? He gave
they blew his nose off though, but they couldn't stop them lips and that wide nose.
Yeah, blew his nose off.
Eyes,
blew his nose off.
Cheekbones.
Mm-hmm.
Look, brothers and sisters. Any picture you look at, all 3 images here, high cheekbones. Look at the eyes. Look at the nose structure they try to take off. Wide nose. Look at the lip structure. Even they try to line the hair on his face, but you can still tell it had that roughness, right? His cheek, his jawline, everything about that statue is black. It's
a straight Negro. Watch this. This is another angle.
There we go.
The same statue.
Look at the top lip, bottom lip. Look at the high cheekbones again. Very high cheekbones.
Look at the Negro features. Look at them.
Negro feature
that is a straight Negro.
Yep. Look at it.
He looked like now these guys said the Native American Indians were Israelites, which we know is not. But the Native American Indians had straight hair because they know why they process their hair. That's why. Those black Indians, they process their hair. Yeah, go read the history of the black Indians.
Not all, but some of them, yeah.
But either way, they depicted David in Jerusalem as a Negro. Listen, man, the historical scholars, they all know that the Jews was black. They know that. All the true biblical scholars, they know that. That's why they depict him as black. Let's continue. Another source, Qanath, the accounts and papers, 28 volumes. Now, this was printed, Qanath, it says December the 12th, 1854. It was a session, Qanath, 1854 through August the 14th, 1855. 1854 through 1855. Again, my grandmother was born in 1923. She died years ago at the age of 84. This is printed in 1854. Let's go inside and see what it says, Qanath. So we're giving you guys early sources. We're not gonna come and no. We might every now and then give you an up-to-date source, but we're giving you early sources. Okay. Let's see what it says here, Qanath. Let me put my glasses on. Let's see here. What should I start reading? What should I start reading? Let me read number 4. As I extended my inquiries, I found that the liberated Africans resident in the colony, more especially the Aku race, okay, who form 2/3 of the population and represent a large portion of its property, were deeply habitually implicated in this disgraceful traffic. Now reading number 5, the highlighted part. The peculiar people who may be termed the Jews of Africa. Shall we continue, Qanath?
Boom. The peculiar sound familiar?
Let me read.
You understand this peculiar people?
What year was this again? What year was this again, Qanath?
1854.
This is a scholarly session from 1854 through 1855. 1855. Let me read it. In fact, let me blow it. Let's blow it up. It reads, the peculiar people who may be termed the Jews of Africa, bearing all the strong characteristics, right? Watch this. Bearing all the strong characteristics of the race of Europe. Now, let's put the race of Europe. Now, watch this going on. Are so clannish and so banded together, governed by the laws of custom of their own, administered by a king of her men, resident to the colony. Now look, now they're gonna put characteristics of Europe. Now we know in 18, what year was this again? 1854 and 55.
Yeah,
they had no damn characteristics of Europe.
A black Jew from Africa. So you mean tell me the black Jews of Africa look European?
Yeah, because remember, you every now and then you have one or two, you have a few.
But you know what though? Let's back up, because during that time you had the Moors, you had some Jews living there.
Yeah, that's true.
So they in Europe, so they could have been compared to the black so-called Europe's over there.
Right. That's true. Because if we go up here, it also talks about the Mandingos. See the Mandingos. Talks about the Mandingos also. Yeah. Right up here, the Mandingos. Yeah. Right. And I got more information on the Aku race. I got more information on them too.
Okay.
Yeah, I got more information on the Aku race, and they talks about them in black. We're gonna get to that too. Mm-hmm. Let's go right here. The Jew. I'm gonna show y'all how this white guy deceived. Well, I'm gonna show you the Aku race and another source. Another guy said it was black. Watch this here though. The Jewish autonomy in slave society. This is a book. It says right here. It says surname in the Atlantic world. The Atlantic world from 1651 through 1825. Okay, let's go inside. Let's see what it says here. Let's read this part. It says many West Africans and their diasporic descendants preserve a tradition of naming a child after his or her birthday in the week. Moreover, the name could signify a person's spiritual attributes of his parents' mundane events at the time of birth. Okay, then it says here, just as Purim had an African birth name, it said probably at least one by name. It says it is also clear that he maintains some of the spiritual traditions of his native West African. Okay, then it says in 1782, David D. Jacob R.D. Miza discovered the Negro Purim, slaughtering of goats. See, slaughtering a goat, later discovered to be a property of the Portuguese Jew Isaac Lopez Nuns. He said when Miza tried to intervene, Purim forcibly resisted. Okay, but it talks about here the West African Jews who kept the customs.
Man, this is
I'm sorry, go ahead, Qanath.
I was saying this is infutable, man. This is infutable.
Yeah, it's crazy, but a lot of information. But let's go to. But watch this here, Qanath. This brother right here, Qanath, is a Sephardic Jew. His name is Yosef Nasi. A Sephardic Jew named Yosef Nasi of Belgium. Guess what, Qanath? Like myself, he was an artist. His name is Yosef Nasi. Let's look at him again. He was a black man. He was a Jew. He was a Sephardic. Because the original Sephardics were black. Now remember, it was the white Jew who took on the identities of our people. It was the white Jew who took on the identities and the languages of our people. It was the white Jew who took the literature and the books and scriptures from our people. They were the one who learned from our people. And then what happened, Qanath? They kicked most of the real Jews out of Europe. The Negro Jew, they kicked them out. That's how the white Jews was able to get their hands on the press, publish literature, books, scriptures. That's what happened. Either way, the Sephardic Jew, his name was Yosef Nasi, right, of Belgium in the 1900s. Watch this. Yosef Nasi, born in January the 1904. Right? It says he died around 1976. He was a Suriname American, right, expert artist. See, he was an artist of Jewish descent. Nasi was living in Belgium when World War II began and was one of about 2,000 civilians holding American passports who were confined in Germany. And this is one of his paintings, Qanath. Like your brother Yehuda, he was an artist, but he was a Sephardic Jew, a black Jew. This is another painting that he did on the left side. A Sephardic Jew, black man.
You know what this reminds me of? All this history and look how they kicked the Jews out of Europe and all that.
Out of Europe, yep.
It reminds me like they had a lot of books that they collected all over the world written by black people. Over 20,000 books in Brazil. And I don't know if it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, that library, they say, got burnt down.
You see that? Wow.
Over 20,000 books in the library got burnt down. I wonder why.
Can you imagine what was written in those books?
20,000 books.
Just like Timbuktu, man. They said a lot of books in Timbuktu was destroyed. Speaking of Timbuktu, in this, I might not get to it tonight. I'm going to show people a black Jew in Timbuktu as we speak. And guess what, Qanath? He's one of the men that runs the books or the Timbuktu library of those ancient books. He's one of the men. And he talks about his Hebrew heritage. I'm almost done too. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. I want to get some sleep. Let's do like 2 more and we'll wrap it up. So we'll do this one and we'll do another source and we'll wrap it up, okay? Now, the Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert name have Hebrew origin. Let your brother Yehuda repeat that one more time. The Sahara Desert name have Hebrew origin. A lot of people don't know that the Sahara Desert have Hebrew origin, Qanath. You know why? Because our ancestors migrated to Africa and controlled many parts of Africa. Like in Second Esdras, they went to a further land where no man never dwelt. In ancient times, Africa had many, many, many parts where man never dwelt. Many parts where no man was dwelling. Hell, you got places right now in America where no man dwell at. The name Sahara is of Hebrew origin. The meaning of Sahara is moon. It is also of Arabic origin. So it is a Arabic and Hebrew origin, where its meaning is wilderness, meaning desert. Sahara is generally used as a girl's name, like Sarah, Sahara. You want to say something, Qanath? Let's go to one more. We end it. This is going to be the last one, folks. Qanath, you want to say something real quick? I guess he stepped away. We'll make this one the last one. This is a source printed in 1795. 1795. This is an old source. We're going to make this the last one, Qanath. Printed in 1798. Okay, the Scots Magazine or General repository, okay, of literature, history, and politics. Let's go to page 165. We'll end it, right? It says here, the manners of the customs of the Jews and Moors, which had taken deep root to the country, are not yet eradicated. Many villages are filled. What's that? Because this is old English, so you got to kind of like this. Excuse me, this is old English. It said particularly among the inhabitants of the interior provinces who had little or no intercourse with strangers. The descendants of the latter are very numerous. They are distinguished by the round faces, Qanath, regular features, and swarthy complexion. Talking about the Jews, swarthy complexion, meaning black and black hair. Okay. Then it says, and sparkling eyes. But I just want to show people this here. Also, another source again, dating back to 1798. We can end it right there, Qanath, tonight. I guess he stepped away. He stepped away. I'll do one more until he come back. I'll do one more. Niger, the word Niger, the origin of the word Niger. Talks about the origin of the word Niger, right? It says, while it clear that there should be some common denominator for the names of the African territory that appear to derive from the common root, it does not appear possible to find a common denominator. Thus, Negritia is defined according to the Century Dictionary 1904 as the region of Central Africa, nearly equivalent to Sudan. And a lot of people don't know that the word Sudan derived from the word Dan, the tribe of Dan. A lot of people don't know that. Sudan, and the home of the most pronounced types of the Negro race. See, the Negro race. So it talks about the word Niger, right? Now let's go to the bottom real quick here. It says, in fact, let's continue. It says here, so that one suspects that the Negritia is but the Latinizing of the Arabic word Sudan, which means the land of the blacks. Okay. And at the bottom it says, westward of the Nile describe the vast range of Libya interior watered by the great river Gur or Niger. It has been generally understood that this trait comprised the modern Negritia, that the Niger was the great river, so well known to Europe under the name, though it is not designated so in any part of Africa. Okay, Africa. And that the Gur is the river, blah, blah, blah. So it's talking about the Niger, right? But watch this here. Why I'm bringing this up. Nigeria entry. A lot of people don't know that the word Nigeria itself is of Hebrew origin. According to the 9th century Jewish traveler Eldad ben Mali, Eldad the Danite, the Ibu B'nai Yisrael may be descendants of the members of several and lost tribes of Israel. He contended that the Jews of Africa came from the tribes of Dan, Naphtali, and Asher, who fled to the land of Israel so far not to participate in the civil war between Judah and Israel during the time of Jeroboam's succession. So he said that during the time of Rehoboam, the Danites, they did not want to fight against Judah. So the Danites decided to leave. It said Eldad contended that these Jews originally settled in Havilah, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. With them, they had a copy of the Tanakh, less the books of Esther and Lamentations, etc. It says, these Jews had no knowledge of the Mishnah or the Babylonian Talmud, but had devised their own Talmudic tradition, in which all the Jews were accredited to Yeshua ben Nun, who received them from Moses, etc. So he talks about the tribe of Asher, Dan, Naphtali, and Gad. All 4 tribes. Hey, Qanath, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's end it right here. The golden age of Timbuktu. We'll be done. This is the last one.
All right.
This is going to be the last one. The golden age of Timbuktu. Let's go inside. So talking about the river Niger, Qanath. Okay, so it says Niger River, the Niger or Niger, which is Niger, a great river of the interior Libya, right? Flowing from west to east. It has long been a moot point among geographers whether the Niger or the Niger of the ancients should be identified, they said, with the river known as the blah, blah, blah. So it's talking about the Niger River, right? But now let's see here. Watch this here. This is going to be the last source right here. The Niger Journal, excuse me, the Niger Journal of Richard and John Lander. So let's go inside. It talks about the Niger, right? It says Judah appeared then to confirm Herodotus, but Claudius Ptolemy, the best informed of all classical geographicals or geographers, produced in the 2nd century AD an account of the interior of Africa, which accepted the existence of the river called Niger, but showed it to have no connection with the Nile. See? Unfortunately, Ptolemy, and Ptolemy Qanath is the same white man who said that Osiris was in Africa. He's the same guy. It says, unfortunately, Ptolemy's description of the river's course was phrased in so compressed with the cryptic a manner that later scholars found it impossible to interpret, etc. Okay, but let's get to this part here. You know what? Let's end it. Let's end it right here, Qanath. Let's end it. I got much more. Much more. But we're going to end it tonight.
All right. Hey, Most High bless you. Who the wonderful class. Most High bless everyone. Most High will. We may see y'all tomorrow. If not, may see you later on. All those Most High will. Thanks again, brother. Most High bless Star, Lima, King Judah, Don P, everybody in the chat. You know, I don't have my glass on, but you know, if I miss y'all, my apologies. Most High bless all of y'all, the ones that's listening without liking and the ones that's liking without listening. So please hit the like button and subscribe. Most High bless y'all. With that, I say shalom.
Shalom. Grace and peace, man. And we'll talk tomorrow, okay?
No doubt.
All right, cool. Shalom.
Shalom.